Paris will be pressure. How are you looking at it?
We've still got a bit of time. Fortunately, we're gearing up now for the Pro League. Pro League gives us 8 games with a slightly reduced squad from what we've had since January. It's exciting time, to be honest. I mean, the detail will always be there. We have a pool that we're preparing for, but we've obviously more focused on us right now. You can worry about a lot of other things, but right now it's all about us and getting us improved and us in the right shape physically, mentally, technically, tactically. So
Before I go to Sri, I was told you will, Paddy and Mike Horn will join the team in Switzerland and Holland, and then you go to Paris. Thoughts on that leading up?
yeah, I think we would have done a good block of squad training in that. The team would then be selected, and then we go for a team build. Yeah, so it's a bit of a surprise. So we're looking forward to that with Paddy and Mike Horn in Switzerland, and that'll be before we do our last block of training in Holland before we enter the Paris and into the village.
Okay, coach, pressure. That's the moot point. And I had asked you this question multiple times when we've spoken. How do you deal with pressure? Because clearly comparisons will be made. Your past record will be brought in. Why can't you do that with India? You have to do it for a country which is starved of champions. How do you deal with pressure?
I like to reframe that from pressure to focus. I think that's what we need more, is just the ability. In order to get consistency, we need to have focus on the job at hand and what we're trying to achieve. Pressure comes from expectation. So everyone else's expectation is on you. But what is our expectation of ourselves? I think that's really important to us, and that then relates back to focus. What are we focusing on, and what phase are we in? What are we actually wanting to achieve in this space? And then that'll take care of itself. But if we worry about everything else outside of that, and the expectation is way too big because the media would like to pump us up and say we're going to win X, Y, and Z, and then suddenly we're focusing on that, but we're not doing what we need to be doing, and then suddenly there's a mismatch, and then we underperform. So that's really important for us to keep humble, really keep working hard. We haven't won anything, we haven't done anything yet, so we've still got our feet firmly on the ground, and we need to keep them there.
Everyone tells me your speciality is attention to detail. That even if you win, there's a meeting. Even if you lose, multiple scenarios are discussed. You yourself told me ahead of the Asian Champions Trophy, I remember that we spoke about losing 2-0 or down 2-0, and then it's a situation like that, how you come up. So you clearly, there is a different focus and attention to detail. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, you want to go all the way through to the gold medal game. You've got to play 8 games, and you may not win all 8 games, and you may not play well in all 8 games. But how do you find a way to win? How do you adapt from one situation where you're playing really, really well and you're scoring to the next moment where you are 2-0 down? And how do you find a way to get back in the game? How do you find a way to get a result? Because it's basically a wins and draws environment. There's not much space for losses, because wins and draws keeps you in the hunt. First, you've got to make the quarters. That's top 4 in the pool. And then if you're fortunate to do that, you play up against anyone. Imagine there's a mismatch in the pool, and an underdog beats another seed, and now it messes up the seeding, and now you got to get ready. You got to get ready to play everyone at any time past the pools. So yeah, there's a lot of attention to detail. We're still improving there, but it's phase by phase, group phase by phase, and one moment at a time.
I like the rootedness in both of them. I'm enjoying this interview because of the rootedness. I mean, there's no extra talk. There's clearly a clear focus on process. We used to concede goals in the 58th, 59th, 60th minute. And according to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that also happens because physically you're tired and it impacts you mentally. Because unless you are physically completely at your best, mental fitness will also get impacted. How important is it for you, the combination of physical and mental fitness, to be there focused till the 60th minute, last second, till the hooter goes? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the main point is you derive your level of skill from your level of fitness under pressure. And you always are judged by your last mistake. And was your last mistake big enough that had a result or an impact in the game? And I suppose when you have 4 quarters and the rules are the rules, where hockey's a dynamic game. It's one of the harder games to play, and with 8 games in a row, and you play game on, day off, back to back, day off, back to back, it's not easy. So we really need to put in the work. There's no other way of cutting that up and making it or sugarcoating it. Like, we just got to really work hard and deserve, to stand over our performances from a physical point of view. But then you got to blend everything into it. Who are you playing? Scoreboard pressure. What's happening? Are you on top? Are you behind? What do you have to still do now? Because it's a results-based environment. So the conditioning is a given. You really need to be conditioned. And I would beg to say that the top 4 teams at the end of the tournament will probably be the top 4 for these teams at the tournament. And then whatever happens after that happens.
We've seen teams get overcharged. Cricket reference 2003 World Cup in South Africa. Your own country, India versus Australia final. First over 15 runs, game done. And we've seen that at Olympic stage with many athletes. Our shooters in Tokyo, she will remember, 15 shooters, very talented, didn't win. How do you also maintain the relaxation, the mental frame? These guys are training, intense, hard work. Are there cheat days? Are there relaxation days? What do these fellows do? What is the backstage? Can you tell my viewers?
I think you have to have a balance. I mean, what the boys do is not normal. So there has to still be an enjoyment factor to everything that they do and who they do it with, because they spend so much time together. You've still got to enjoy each other's company and then prepare for competition. But in that, you can switch off and just go, solo, and that's not going to be helpful either. So the balance is there, and I think obviously from a mental side of things, working with Paddy and the different projects that we're busy with, it's also to get that holistic approach to an athlete who's performing in a high-performing competition, but also still enjoying it, but also knowing where he's very comfortable, and maybe some areas where he has anxiety, and then how to give that player tools to deal with that or to openly talk about it. And it's normal.
Ireland, Belgium, all of these countries, player. Is India the most difficult assignment of your life?
No, it's not the most difficult. It's the most diverse. It's stooped in the culture and the diversity of everything. It's like a collective melting pot of talent and of different languages and influences, and how big is the country, and how supportive it is of its sport in general. It's fanatical. It's beautiful as a mix. I'm not saying it's easy, and what we're trying to do is break it down and try and use its strength of its DNA of what is good about Indian hockey, what is good about their talent. And the number one thing for me is to make them fly high and be as confident in their own ability, their own identity, of what they can bring and how they can inspire the next generation. And also those that watch, that really get behind them through the thick and the thin. Because it's going to be a tournament, and a tournament's a roller coaster. You could have the greatest start and then really have to finish well to make the quarters, or the opposite, have a poor start and then finish all the way. So who knows how it's going to go. The fact is that we need to be prepared for everything. And from an Indian point of view, just get behind your team. It's so easy to get critical. It's so easy to point fingers and everything. But I think you said a year and a half. I've only been here a year. So if you think about it in Olympic terms, a year, it's not a long time. We had 3 months to qualify. But we ticked that box, we ticked the next box. We're still here, we're still improving, we're still now getting excited about going to the Pro League. Get behind the team. Let's not, blow this expectation up too high. That's just from me. Get behind the players, support them, and we have to be good in Paris, but we've still got some work to do now.